It was a warm summer evening when my life flipped upside down. I had just told my parents that I was dropping out of law school. I thought they would at least ask why, maybe even try to understand. Instead, my father's face turned red, his jaw tightening like he was holding back a storm. Then he exploded. "Get out and stay out." He yelled so loud the walls seemed to vibrate. My mother stood beside him, her arms crossed, eyes cold, as if I had just confessed to a crime. They didn't ask about my plans, they didn't care about my reasons. All they saw was failure. And in that moment, I realized they saw me as nothing more than a disappointment. I remember the sting in my chest as I walked out of that house, a single duffel bag slung over my shoulder. The smell of my mom's cooking from the kitchen faded as the door slammed shut behind me, replaced by the hot, dry air of the street. I had no goodbye, no hug, no "we'll figure this out." Just rejection. What they didn't know, what they never even bothered to ask, was that I had been quietly building something for years. I wasn't just some lost kid giving up on life. I was sitting on an investment portfolio worth over $30 million. I had made it through careful planning, smart crypto moves early on, and a tech startup exit they'd never even heard about. I never bragged because I wanted to succeed on my own terms. But they had just made one thing clear: they didn't care about me unless I fit their mold. The next day, I woke up in my own Malibu mansion. Floor-to-ceiling windows stretched across the living room, framing the endless blue of the Pacific Ocean. The place smelled faintly of salt and cedar from the deck outside. I sipped coffee by the infinity pool, thinking about the irony of it all. Yesterday, I was a failure in their eyes. Today, I was watching dolphins break the water's surface while the morning sun painted the waves gold. I should have felt pure satisfaction, but a part of me was still burning. It wasn't enough for me to just live well. I needed them to know exactly how wrong they were. 3 weeks later, the perfect opportunity arrived. My parents were invited to a charity gala in Los Angeles. I had been on the donor list for months, having pledged $500,000 to the cause. My name was printed on the VIP invitation, and I knew they'd see it. I made sure I arrived fashionably late, stepping out of a black Rolls-Royce with a tailored suit that probably cost more than their car. The moment I walked in, the room shifted. Heads turned. A few whispered my name. Then I saw them. My father froze mid-sentence, the drink in his hand trembling just slightly. My mother's eyes widened, scanning me from head to toe, her expression caught somewhere between disbelief and something that looked a lot like regret. I walked over slowly, every step deliberate. "Hi, Mom, Dad, long time no see." My voice was calm, but inside, my heart was pounding. My father tried to recover his composure. "We didn't know you'd be here." I smiled, just enough to sting. "Oh, I've been busy. Running a few businesses. Investing. You know, all the stuff dropouts do when they're not living up to expectations." My mother's lips tightened. She glanced at the people nearby, aware of the whispers. The tension was delicious. They asked where I was living now, so I told them about the mansion. About the view. About how I'd just purchased another property in Aspen. Each detail made my father's jaw clench a little more. I didn't have to say it directly, every word was proof that their judgment of me was wrong, and now the entire room knew it. Before I left, the event's host approached, thanking me for my generous donation and introducing me to a small crowd as one of the evening's biggest supporters. My parents stood just a few feet away, listening, their pride swallowed by the very public reminder of how little they truly knew me. As I stepped back into the warm night air, I realized the knot in my chest had finally loosened. The rejection that once crushed me was now just fuel I had burned to get here. I didn't need their approval anymore, but knowing they'd have to live with the memory of that night was sweeter than I could have imagined. Sometimes, the best revenge isn't shouting or fighting. It's quietly living so well that the people who doubted you have no choice but to eat their words. And trust me, that night, they were choking on them. If you've ever been underestimated, if you've ever been cast aside by people who thought they knew your worth, remember this: success is the loudest answer you'll ever give. And when the moment comes to show it, make it unforgettable.